Things nobody tells you about karting. Honestly, karting isn't what most people think it is. From the outside, people mostly see the fun part. They see the race starts, overtakes, podiums, cool edits on Instagram. And yeah, all of that is really fun, but there are so many other things people don't actually tell you about before you start racing. The first thing is probably how physically demanding it is. People actually think karting is easy just because the karts are small and they are not powerful. Especially in two-stroke karting, the steering is heavy, the braking is intense, and you feel every bump in your spine. And here in the UAE, the heat makes it even worse. During summer practice days, it literally feels like you're melting inside the kart. And sometimes you even finish a session only after a few laps because you're completely exhausted. Another thing is nobody tells you how expensive small mistakes become. Like one tiny contact can suddenly become a broken tie rod, a bent frame, a broken bumper, anything like that. Sometimes something breaks and you don't even understand how it happened. Actually, one of the funniest things about karting is how normal chaos becomes. In the paddock, there's always someone running around looking for tools, changing tires last minute, changing parts last minute, and somehow it all works out in the end. Another thing is people don't understand how mental karting is. Confidence literally changes everything. You can have the exact same kart, the exact same setup, the exact same track conditions, brand new tires, but if your confidence is low, then it changes everything. One bad session can completely ruin your mood, but one good lap can suddenly make you feel like you're unstoppable. I personally think that it's one of the hardest parts of racing, learning how to reset mentally after bad race weekends or bad practice days, because in karting, mistakes happen all the time. You lock up, you overdrive, you spin out, you make bad decisions while battling with other drivers, you sometimes crash, and especially when you first start racing, mistakes feel so huge. I remember when I first moved from rentals to two-stroke karts, and everything felt so fast and overwhelming. A lot of people thought I was crazy for moving into two strokes quickly, but in reality, I just wanted to race and have fun. And I learned the only way you can start improving is by racing and pushing yourself and pressuring yourself. That's another thing nobody tells you. Practice is completely different than racing. In practice, you're driving alone most of the time, but in races, it's completely different. You have drivers overtaking you, lapping you, braking in front of you, defending. You have to make decisions in less than a second to actually perform well in your race. People also don't realize how much preparation there has to be done in one race weekend. You don't just arrive and drive. There's so much more behind the scenes. Changing the tires, changing setups, cleaning the car, checking if everything is fine, watching data, improving your lap times, improving your braking points, throttling points, your race line. And race weekends go by so quickly. You wait all week for them and then suddenly it's Sunday evening again and everyone's packing up to leave the track. Another thing nobody will ever tell you about racing is about how emotional it really becomes. Not emotional in a dramatic way, but emotional as in you really get attached to the sport. One podium can make your entire week. One bad race can stay in your head for days. One good overtake suddenly becomes a memory you will never forget. And slowly, karting becomes your whole personality. Your camera roll becomes onboards, track photos, helmet photos, random onboards of overtake you did so well, lap time photos, and somehow every conversation turns into karting eventually. Even when you're not on the track, you will think of karting all the time. And honestly, social media becomes a really good part of that too. A lot of people think driver social media is posting cool edits and race results, but it's way more than that. For me, it's also about documenting progress. When I look back at old videos or old photos, I realized how much my driving has changed. Sometimes you don't even notice the improvement until you look back from where you started. That's why recording your onboards is very important. Watching your mistakes, watching where you've improved so much, watching how you've improved, watch your race line. And honestly, it's really satisfying seeing how much you've improved over time. And even though racing is really competitive, there are lots of funny moments on track. Like drivers blaming the setup for everything, or everyone suddenly becoming engineers after one session, or someone saying the kart feels weird and then setting their fastest lap somehow. Karting honestly has so many chaotic moments that people outside of the sport would never understand. But even with all the stress, pressure, chaos, costs, crashes, heat, I would never change it for anything else. Because once racing becomes part of your life, it never leaves. And honestly, that's the best part of it. Before karting, I tried so many different sports. I did tennis, ballet, gymnastics, volleyball, swimming, basketball, karate, basically everything. And I enjoyed some of them, but nothing compared to racing. Karting was the first thing that actually made me excited every time I'd do it, every time I'd go on track. Even if I crashed, spun out, I would still be happy no matter what. And I think that's how you know you really love something. Another thing that helped me a lot, and I think more drivers should start doing it, is having a small notebook with you and writing down all of your notes, your sessions, what you've tested, the track conditions, kart setup, the feel on the car, what you were doing wrong, doing good. Because sometimes you forget things really quickly after a weekend or a practice day ends. And when you go back later and read all your old notes, you'll see how much you've improved over time and how much you've changed your driving. Even small details can make a huge difference later. I think motorsports is the one sport that teaches you something every time you go and do it. Learning never really stops. Every session teaches you something new, even if it's a small thing. And honestly, that's one of the reasons I love it so much. Karting has taught me so much more than just to drive fast. It taught me patience, discipline, confidence, and how to keep going even when things don't go perfectly. I'm still learning every day, but that's what makes the journey exciting. And honestly, I can't imagine doing myself anything else.